This right here, this game, this has probably been the best game to watch if you're lucky enough to witness it last night in all, I would say, of the leagues that have happened maybe this year. Definitely been the best Champions League game in recent memory that I can think of. It had absolutely everything that we want as football fans in a really big game. Two sides going at it with no thought of shutting down shop, parking the bus, play for the win, nick a one goal. If it's 1-0 up, parking the bus, nicking that. Absolute credit to both PSG and Bayern last night for an unbelievable display of everything that is wrong with the modern day football. By by wrong I mean teams, especially in the Premier League, just wanting to set up shop and play this possession style, dominate the ball, holding up play, set piece winning mentality that seems to have crept away into the Premier League teams, especially. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've watched every single league game in the Premier League or every single league game in La Liga or Bundesliga or Liga, but from watching last night's game and even watching this year's Champions League that Spurs actually were part of, but won't be part of now for probably another decade, it seems that in Europe teams play with such more freedom and expansion, and there seems to be a real kind of go go get them, attack them mentality with all teams, even if we even look at the league phase of how it kind of wrapped really before it got to the heavy duty kind of set. Like you had both like Arsenal, fair enough, they dominated it, but you had like Munich, Liverpool, and Spurs, and Chelsea, Man City, four of the big teams in England. Five of them, even sorry, if you want to include Arsenal, five of them, they're all in the top eight, okay, but they all then got knocked out following coming up against really a tough enough opposition side from different leagues that challenged them to play a certain way, play a different way, play a more expansion way, play a more. They adopted a more of a kind of go get the mentality, you know. Obviously, from Spurs' perspective, we saw that with Atletico Madrid. Now, fair enough, in our first leg, Kingsley, made a howler, Van de Ven slipping, didn't help us at all. But we saw in the second leg, you know, even Tudor's probably best performance, that when we went for it and we adopted this more kind of no, we can get at them kind of mentality. We won the game, and it was a much more entertaining watch, an entertaining game. And I feel like teams now across kind of England specifically and the Premier League, we've become so much more obsessed with either the stats or the holding up the ball, or everything has to kind of be so perfect and minute and fine detail that we kind of have failed to really grasp another side of things, which is actually to play football, play the expansion, the expansiveness, using the pitches, like we could even see it last night. Like Kvaratskhelia was just a perfect example, I thought, of a left winger. That it has not become the modern day left winger. You see the likes of what even Pep did to Grealish, where he was just Grealish with Villa was such more of a kind of direct attacking, dribble in pass, do a bit of, skills or rowboating, if you will, and to try and beat the man or create something, a flash, a flair player. But that type of winger, that type of player seems to have become non-existent really now. Now maybe it's because I haven't seen most of them done. But last night with Kvaratskhelia, with his display on that left wing, was just a shining light on, I think, a very dull way that football may have already gone. You know, his opposite number then with um Michael Elise, exactly the same, even in the Bundesliga and Europe. cutting in on the right, lovely bit of trickery all last night, been doing it all season, and attacking, literally going at defenses, running through, dribbling. So it's no wonder that last night's game was such a great watch because of the wingers. Really, I think obviously you can make, a case for, the likes of João Neves and Vitinha in midfield for PSG, Harry Kane up top, and Luis Diaz, I feel even him as well. You know, they brought back that flair and that sense of wow factor that I suppose the modern game seems to be lacking. And I think that it's be such a shame to lose that. But with players like Elise, like Kvaratskhelia, like Jeremy Doku with Man City, you know, even Heung-min Son back when he was, at his prime, you know, attacking wingers and attacking minded players, playing that style of football, playing that no nonsense, that if you score one, we'll score one back. I'm almost, and dare I say it, almost like an Ange Postecoglou system in its gun ho, and it's like we won't stop. And I think that last night's game between the two sides again was just the watch of the season, and credit to both teams now. And it's going to make it such a really a class watch next week now to see how it goes between the two teams, because unfortunately I can only see this game going being a bit more of a snooze fest, but it remains to be seen how the Arsenal get on against Atletico Madrid. Let's hope it's not going to be a snooze fest and it's more like last night's game. But I highly doubt it, with both teams just trying to grind out a result. But who's to know? Well, let's see.